Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we finished the Mind Plague priority assignment / DLC, and this time we're going to start right at the top with the Charybdis Outpost. The Imperial frigate Annihilation has picked up a Vox transmission from an Imperial installation named Charybdis Outpost. The complex is listed in the archives as a mass prisoner processing center which was lost in a warp surge for a long time. The message itself is quite perplexing, as it seems to be a call for redemption through righteous death sent by a group of heretics. Interesting. So, debrief analysis of orbital pick feeds has detected a heretic tribe in an abandoned Imperial facility. The presence of demonic entities has been confirmed. Resources for a full-scale purgation are unavailable, so the Ordo has opted for a surgical strike. Was not expecting them to just throw me right in here. But, okay. What do we want to do? Wish I could have read that text before it went away, but oh well. We can try to scramble the platform's machine spirit with a scrap code broadcast. Teleportarium assaults, coordinating with the armsmen of the Annihilation. I'd just go missile strikes. Yeah, it cost me 900 Caligari credits, not like I have to worry too much. But the scrap code is essentially launching a virus, and I think that's probably tech heresy, but also to my first thought here is that might not work. Lore-wise, it might not work, so I wouldn't go with that. If you're a heartless Inquisitor, yeah, just yeet some guardsmen at the problem. Collateral damage, you can see, just goes up automatically. There's no iffy a bit here. Do nothing, that's... See, I almost want to do nothing. You know what? Let's do it. Why not? Let's do nothing and see what happens. The platform was successfully neutralized and now under Imperial control. The highest level of the Charybdis Outpost is currently occupied by heavily armed Chaos cultists. There's evidence of extreme violence everywhere and numerous examples of Chaos symbolism, but strangely enough, the Imperial shrines have remained untouched. The installation itself appears structurally intact. So, now do we want to proceed to landing platform of the installation, land behind the two stationary cannons protecting the comm tower, or land in the middle of the cultist horde? See, I'd say communications tower, because this is interesting. Two stationary cannons are protecting the communications tower. It would be difficult to breach the complex from the front, but it is not impossible. Caution is advised, though. The landing site is close to a gathering point for a large group of cultists. Prepare for an imminent battle.
100,000 worlds, 100,000 wars. There is no respite. There is nowhere to hide. Across the galaxy, there is only war.
One thing that's interesting was the cultists wanting to reach out. This isn't... For 40K lore, this isn't completely out of the ordinary, because with the lore, the Empire of Man had a very large, sprawling empire, and then over time... This is before even Horus Heresy. They ended up losing contact with a lot of it, and as a result, even, in the 41st millennium now, they're still finding planets that were human colonies, just lost to time. And of course, on those worlds, religion varies. Some became chaos worshippers, some worship the Empire and the Emperor like they did in ages before, and some have ended up worshipping an altered version of the Emperor. Of course, typically if they worship chaos, they're just instantly nuked anyways. Chaos influence and whatnot. The planets that don't and end up worshipping the Empire in some weird way sometimes get taken back and are kind of shown like, hey, you know, you done goofed, here's the real way of doing it. But at least from my understanding, it's very dependent on who finds them. If you have some crazy Puritan Inquisitor or lead for any expedition team, that world might as well be dead. If you have someone who's a little more open to the fact that it might have been upwards of 10,000 years since this planet has had contact with people, you know, you might get a little leeway. But it's very interesting, because when you think about it, that is something that could very easily happen to us, realistically. If we decide colonization efforts, we don't want to deal with sending... Like, we don't have the engines to get people from point A to point B in a lifetime. And we don't want to do these generation ships where people end up living on a station, since the size of the ship would have to be massive, the resource expenditure would be immense. You know, you just put people in cryopods. Well, your first generation or two, depending on how far out they are, will remember the old ways, but things start to change, and if they lose contact with the rest of humanity, you know, they could worship literally anything. You pick any faith and they will likely alter and change to suit their situation. And of course, there's also the matter of what happens to that group in terms of technology. If they resort back to more of a feudal society, more agrarian subsistence farmers, and tech isn't as big thing, that can have an effect on the changing of social norms and religion. It can go even further than that. I mean, if, let's say in a hypothetical situation, you have a War of the Gods kind of situation. You have one planet with a remnant of humanity. Very simplistic, don't really have a way to reach out. Like I said, most likely feudalistic, agrarian society, subsistence farmers and whatnot. What if during those conflicts some alien ships land, or supplies get misrouted and end up on the planet? You have the chance of creating a cargo cult, which is something that came... The most prominent ways of knowing this, or the biggest names for this, were during World War II. A lot of people lived very simple lives in the Pacific. A lot of Pacific Islanders, they didn't really know of the world outside. And so you would have these people looking up into the sky and seeing, to them, metal birds. You would see, you know, something that might get paradropped in on accident. A jeep or supplies, something gets blown off course, something washes ashore. Suddenly you have, you know, people who don't fully understand what's going on with a jeep. Or troops end up landing there, and these people are completely different looking. You know, one of the things I remember reading was, I think it's the Phantom comic It's this old comic. It still exists to my knowledge, but it's this dude in like this purple bodysuit looking thing, and throughout the comics he's a crime fighter and whatnot, and these tribal groups end up encountering the comics, and as a result there are some, they would paint shields
Target
with
locked.
like a powerful thing on it, something they saw as strong. And you can find some that have this comic book character painted on them. And that's something that could definitely occur in a futuristic setting of, you know, external influences affecting a culture. It even applies now. Look at how much like anime has affected American culture, or K-pop has. These things affect even food. It
Target in
affects
sight.
our perception of a group. It can affect what we want to eat, what we think. These are all things that can easily happen.
Perseverance favors the bold. Give them more death.
So to see it happen here in 40K is, even to a minor degree, it's completely viable. Or just seeing a religion change. That was a big tangent to go on, but it's definitely something, I think it's something worth thinking about, and I think it's interesting. Culture and how it is affected is a fascinating thing people don't think a lot about. Oh, I switched secondary weapons, so I now have a bolt, or no, this is an auto rifle. That fire rate, though. I do like this. This is definitely a fun weapon. Oh yeah, I can actually single shot this. Wow, that aim shot is real bad. I'll just mag dump then.
You serve the Emperor well, Inquisitor.
Just waiting for all that to finish writing out, but the rooftop level has been cleared. The last assailants have surrendered and begged for absolution with most sincere regret. The interrogation revealed nothing apart from the fact that they were honestly unable to answer for their behavior, which suggests some kind of psychic imprinting. This could be a trap, albeit a very transparent one. Extreme caution is advised. Next step. Deep auger scans indicate the presence of more cultists inside the complex and an even larger number of their forces on the rooftop. It is unclear why they don't move out to attack. The next step would be to enter the processing area to access the cogitator network. It might provide some answers. And we will pick that up next time. If you like this episode, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.